this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here. 444 Spearway. Oh, turn.
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time.
The James and Kellee Show.
Great, let's start the show.
Hello, Kellee.
Hi there.
You look so dressed up.
Well, I was at an afternoon tea in our small little town.
Really?
Yes,
How
I
very
was.
nice. How
It was
very
all
nice.
nice. Well, it's very nice. It's not high tea like in London.
It's not very you, I would say.
No. But it was, you know what? It was so fun. It was nice. And I like to support the town. I was supporting the town and we're raising money for something. And it was great. So I'm happy
Good.
I was there. Yes.
Kellee. Very
So
good.
how are you? Oh my gosh. I see Pearl. Hi, Pearly.
Pearl's in the back eating her bony.
Oh my.
Oh, there she is. Now she's
There
here. Come
she
on, say
is.
hi. You can say hi.
Hi, Pearly.
Want to come up here? This way. This
Hi,
way.
sweetheart.
Yeah, sorry. Want to get a picture? Come on. Up. There she is.
Here she, what a beauty. Hi, look. Oh, look at those eyes. Oh, she loves her dad.
She loves her dad.
So sweet.
She's become Velcro dog since I've gotten home.
I can imagine. Well, how are you feeling?
Well, it was
You had a
Friday
scare.
night. Yeah.
Yeah, you had a scare.
A little bit scare, and I knew that I had to go to the ER to check things out. I just knew there was something going on, and a lot of people follow me on Facebook, and thank you everybody for sending us good thoughts. And it was a pre-pneumonia.
You got there just in time, actually.
What's happening here?
Oh.
Okay, here we go. All right, we're back to normal. Did your screen get weird?
No,
Oh, my screen is very strange. Okay, back now. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you great.
Okay, but I can't hear you, so that's
You
good.
cannot hear me? Oh no! Then did you hit mute or? I think everybody can hear me. I did not mute myself. I haven't done anything.
Okay.
Renee.
Let me log back in, Kellee. I'll be right back.
Okay, well, I'll just sit and talk. Hi, everybody. James thought he came close to having pneumonia, actually, but it turned out that it wasn't pneumonia, but it was something really odd called COVID flu. So the poor guy has been really trying to recover from the first time when we had COVID together at the same hospital, actually, that he's in. But let me say hi to some people, and then he'll be on in just a minute, and we'll just get on with the show because it's a really interesting topic tonight. Laura Stern Yoga. Hi, Laura. Hi, Kyle. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Gabriel. Hi, Rita Vores. How are you feeling, honey? Hi, Lisa. Hi, Angel. Hi, Nettie. Hi, Renee. I'm feeling a lot better, 100 times better than I was. So I feel much, much better. I'm still with the cough medicine. Not medicine, but with these cough drops. Hi, Carrie East. Hi, Angela. There he is. I was going down the list. Can you hear me okay? And now I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me? Okay.
There we are.
Oh, good. Whew. It's quite a day,
I
right?
think it's my dog is running all over the place.
Oh, okay.
Go lie down, Pearly. Go lie down.
Well,
There.
we
Go lie
have
down.
such an interesting topic tonight, and you and I have really can't wait to jump into this.
Yes, but I just want to get back to what I was saying about the emergency room. Thank you, everybody, for writing back. And I knew I had to go. And for 2 weeks, my father's been with me. And I was like, why is he with me? And on the way back from the emergency room, I realized I was told that I had pneumonia. And I realized my father had pneumonia when he passed. So I think he was trying to get.
Oh, so he was trying to get you. Got there just in time.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
So I'm much
really
better
did.
now. And it's
Wow.
always on the go. So thank you, everybody.
It was that weekend was a hard weekend.
Was it astrologically as well? Correct.
Well, it was, and the 11th was an 11/11. But I had a pretty traumatic event happen on Saturday myself. Actually,
Yeah, tell everybody.
Yeah,
That
well,
unbelievable.
it was unbelievable. I had a dream, and when I have a dream, I have to look at it. I have to process the dream. Is it a process dream? Is it something I'm working on? Is it a premonition dream? Is it what it is? And I had a dream about my granddaughter, and who's 4 years old, and it was a terrible dream. She was hurt, and it was just an awful, awful dream. And so my mother used to say to me, if you have any dreams like this, tell somebody and write it down. So I talked to Dawn for about an hour. I would have called you, but I was afraid you were asleep. I didn't want to.
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
my gosh. So I talked to Dawn about this dream, and I was really trying to rationally understand why I would have this dream about Lulu. And at 2 p.m, I got a call. Lulu was in the hospital in surgery. She had fallen off a chair, split her tongue all the way in half this way, and had to have surgery. So I clearly picked it up, but Spirit doesn't tell you everything. But I was little trauma, guys.
Traumatic. Yeah, that was traumatic.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
How's she doing now?
Oh, it was the cutest thing. I FaceTimed her today, and I said, "How you doing, Lulu?" And she went like this. She looked at me, and she goes, "Thumbs up."
That's great.
That's doing so much better. Thank you.
And I mentioned to you yesterday, I think it was, when you talked to me about that. And from reading your book, which is great, you had a major brain injury.
Yes.
And that opened up your psychic self. And I was mentioning that I had head injury when I was 8 years old.
That's right.
Something split at the back of my head. And I'm just wondering, and you on Holiday had a head injury or fell.
Yep. Yeah.
And it just kind of opens it. And Peter Herkos, the painter, and
maybe
opens up part of the brain or part of that part of one of the.
I agree with that because her birthday's she's a 3 of clubs like you, James. Her birthday's the day after mine, September 21st. 3 of clubs, very, very psychic.
Yeah.
Very psychic. They call it the psychic writer.
Yeah.
And you said, I think she's going to be a writer.
Oh, did I? That doesn't part of the clubs.
I had to laugh. That was so true. Oh my gosh.
Nadine sent me a lovely flower arrangement. Thank you, Nadine, for the lovely flower arrangement you sent me. It's really beautiful. Cheered me up. So I wanted to thank you.
Yeah, they were beautiful.
So Kellee and I had explorations this weekend. I don't know how I found out about this, but there was
Wait, before you go there, should I go into the astrology?
Yeah, astrology. And
Let's go to astrology. Okay, because I know people were waiting to find out about the astrology, and it's a doozy. Again, we're at a crisis point today. We have a new moon today. Today is a 22, and 22 in numerology means to build or destroy. It's a very powerful number. So today is a 22 day, November 13th, 2023. And today, also with this new moon in Vedic astrology, it's in Libra. And this one is conjunct Mars, which means it's next to Mars, and it opposes Uranus. And that forms what's called a yod. And this yod, this triangle, is called the finger of God, which brings some sort of fate and destiny. So we're in a place right now of some sort of situations that will happen that would be fated events. And today is the 13th. But on the 15th of November, Mars goes into Scorpio. And Mars is actually ruled by, Mars is the planet, it rules Scorpio. And so that is going to be a very intense time with Mars in Scorpio, because Mars in Scorpio is the warrior nature. So everybody watch your own self being, maybe triggered is a good word. Manipulated, agitated. Yeah, triggered is a really good word here.
Kellee, with Mars and Scorpio, could it be confrontations or war?
Absolutely. And then I'm going to what you're saying, I'm going to go even a little further, James, because on November 16th, the sun in Vedic astrology moves into Scorpio, again, ruled by Mars. Okay. So that means Mars in Scorpio and the sun in Scorpio. Very, very intense. And then what happens is Mars and the sun travel together. They conjunct together until the November 21st. And when this happens, this could bring major events, major explosive events, because also on top of that, between November 23rd and the 25th, Saturn and Mars square each other.
Wow.
So we're talking about Mars, the sun, Saturn, Uranus. These are malefic planets, James. These are the ones that don't get along, don't play well with others.
And definitely destiny points. Definitely a destiny.
Definitely destiny points. I mean, Mars is like the gas and Saturn is the brake. So imagine that vibration on the world, because and all in Scorpio, James. I mean, think about that. Scorpio is what you just said. It's hidden things.
Sign of the zodiac, yeah.
most intense and the most hidden. And it could bring cyber attacks, you know, it could
I
bring
was
huge.
the other night, Kelly. Just excuse me for a
Okay.
second.
Yeah.
They couldn't get all the people in because there was a like a cyber attack at one of the hospitals that closed down all their ambulances. So to bring all the ambulances to that ER. So it's already,
No.
yeah.
Wow. Well, these next few days will, you know,
There'll
be
be more of that.
intense.
There'll be a
Be
lot
more
more
of
at
that.
bigger levels as well. Yeah.
Well, did you hear about the 10 freeway in Los Angeles?
No.
It caught fire underneath. There was a huge fire. They don't know. I don't know if it was arson, or they think it was. And the freeway itself now is burnt down, and it's no longer drivable. The 10. The 10 is the biggest artery in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the beginning.
Exactly. So there you go.
Yeah, it just feels like the beginning.
Happy tea. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Okay. So you were watching something over the weekend.
I don't know why I watched it because it was, I think someone mentioned to me, and I looked on Netflix. And there was Escape from Twin Flames, a document series, 3 episodes of Netflix, and I think it was a great job that Netflix picked this up. And Prime also put it on another show about this, and it's about a cult group. And I will say that Twin Flames University or social, whatever they call it, and it's finding your twin flames, and it's really bad.
Oh, it's horrible. It's a cult.
Really
it's awful. Very bad.
It destroys people, and it just destroys people's lives, and it goes to that basics of needing love in life, and they get the most vulnerable people,
yes,
and just manipulate them and destroy lives and have them pass their sexes, transgenders, and
it's awful.
It's awful. It's the whole thing. It's just manipulated.
What?
So you say it's a cult. Right?
Oh, it's a cult. Oh, it's a cult. It's a cult.
How do you define cult?
Well, a cult is where there's a leader, and this leader is generally the first thing that you're going to find with a leader is that they are very charismatic.
Yeah,
they're very charismatic, and they are very manipulative. And if you look at this guy's eyes,
oh
my God, right?
His eyes. I just can't look at his eyes. It's
I know. It's awful. It's awful. The charisma that. And what happens is they start to they do something that is there. Let me say this, James. They are malignant narcissists. Okay, and a malignant narcissist is somebody that is when a person consistently shows no regard for right or wrong, and they ignore the rights and the feelings of others.
Yep.
And they have to have all control.
Yep.
And you think, well, why is it? Now, I will say this: I have. Seen.
Well, let me interrupt you by saying one of the things that got me most of this was when he compared himself to Jesus Christ.
Oh, he said he was before Jesus, second coming. Yeah.
Look at me, I'm like second coming of Jesus. Look at my eyes.
So one of the I got to watch firsthand cults. I've helped people get out of a cult. When I was having my spiritual breakthrough. An awareness. I needed some help, and I didn't know where to go. And I was introduced to what is now, I know as a cult now.
I read all about it.
Yeah, you read. I do put a little bit of in it because I think it's important. I mean, why did my soul have that experience? Well, I do one thing. I'm glad I can unspot them in a heartbeat now. Spot them in a heartbeat, and I can help people get out of them. But this leader used to say something very similar, James. I had to write it down. I used to go like, I was stunned. She'd say, I am more important than God. She said, because I bring you to God, and only through me can you get to God.
Wow.
I mean, think about that. What kind of crazy ass is that?
Wow.
It's crazy. And one of this thing in this, in this twin flames, escaping twin flames. First of all, James, they stole our backgrounds.
Yes, it's true. And they looked at I have a lot of, they have the same books.
Same books.
My cards.
They have your cards. I saw your cards. It was really sick. And one of the things that this guy and his wife, what they would do is they would steal from other cults. And one of the things, I know a different cult that always talks about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. He grabbed that piece. And then he starts manipulating their sexuality.
It's abusive. Totally abusive.
Well, it's totally abusive. And in fact, abuse is normalized.
Yeah, abuse is normalized and accepted.
And accepted. And one of the statements that they made, I had to write it down because I thought Shirley, if Shirley watches this, her head will explode. She said, when you have trauma, we freeze the trauma and then we heal it. We freeze it. What the? I mean, it was so alarming. But one of the questions, and Kim Ann asked this question, and Kim Ann Snodgrass, if you're listening, she said she watched the documentary on Netflix. And she basically, her question is this: when people are in a cult and there are so many red flags, why do people have such a hard time pulling away? And why would this abuse be something a soul signed up for? Which I thought was a great question.
You bet.
You know, like, why do people have a hard time pulling away? I will tell you, they stay in it. First of all, the cult leader tells them that they're special. And it's an exclusive club, like twin flames, you know, and many people are very naive and they are looking for that twin flame in experience that I think it means, you know, somebody that will complete them. What do you think of that term?
I never knew what twin flame meant. I never did. I think it's just a buzzword, but I think of these cult things, they're looking outside themselves for love.
Yes.
They're all looking outside themselves for that peace that they're missing.
That self-love.
They got to go into themselves, but it's so much easier, as we talk about people going to the spiritual bypass, going outside and looking up to someone who has the answers, whether it's religion, whether it's a cult, whatever it might be, that they don't have to think for themselves, take responsibility and start doing the work, but it's easier to listen to somebody else who can manipulate them and control their minds. That's
exactly it. That's it in a nutshell. Yeah.
I was one almost when I was going to high school. I was wise enough. I was dating a girl at the time, and she said to come to her house, and there were special people there, and they're all very, very friendly. Well, twice I was almost thinking about a cult.
Okay.
And I went to her house, and people hanging out, high school people, they're all sitting around, and they're passing the Bible around. I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? Next thing I know, they're saying, you're meant to be here. You know, Jesus, our Savior, wants you. And they'll start speaking in tongues.
No.
Yeah. And they didn't want me to go. And I thought, I got to get the heck out of here right away. Really.
Because you knew yourself well enough.
I knew myself well enough. And then when I was 18, I hitchhiked cross country. I was in San Diego. And I was downtown, invited to this guy and his girl to go to a house party that night. I was a kid, what do I know? I went there, and it was a house with people my age and older, and walk around. Not much furniture, but there were photographs of this Korean gentleman. Sun Myung Moon, whatever his name was.
Oh my God, he was huge. The Moonies.
So I realized as I went into the living room, I was sitting there saying, "Oh, we're welcome. You're welcome here. You're invited here. God wants you to be here." The whole thing, and I knew within my being, I thought, I got to get out of here. I ran out the back, and they chased me down the street. They said, "You're going to hell. We're trying to save your soul." And I was like, "Wow!" So
my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scary.
So I was a little older than you. I was a lot older than you because I was in my 40s. It was after my head injury. And again, when somebody has a head injury and I'm seeing, all of these mystical experiences, and I don't know anybody that will help me. It was before I met you. I didn't know what to do. And so somebody said to me, "Oh, I know this person, and this guru will help you." And I'm like, "Oh, guys, great. Somebody will help me, So in this cult that I witnessed firsthand was interesting, James, because these were educated people.
Sure.
Educated people. These were not dummies. They were educated. But I will tell you that most of them, what the guru does, or what the cult leader does, is they find the hole in you.
Yep.
They kind of like this.
Yep.
And they will either seduce you with money or sex or something. They try to seduce you in some way, or in that they can save you. And it can be very seductive to people.
And you can have that specialty like they are. You can have some of that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. There was another time I was in West Hollywood, and it was just when APLA, I was helping to form APLA, AIDS Prodigal Santos. And I remember there was and I was doing my work, and someone said, "You got to meet this guru. She's going to be in West Hollywood." It was Guru Ma. And she was from Miami. She was a Brooklyn Jew from Miami.
Oh, and that's a different one than I knew. Okay.
And I went in the backyard of this house again, and they had, I don't know, they had all these colored handkerchiefs and blankets that they all made. And we're going down the hallway. We're waiting to go into the room where she is.
Right.
And we're sitting in the hallway, and they said, "Did Ma name you yet?" I said, "Huh? What's your name?" I said, "I'm James." "Oh, what did Guru Ma name you?" I said, "Well, my name is James."
That's the first thing they do, is they try to take away your name. Right.
So I go into this room, and sitting in the living room, bare floor, no furniture. Well, there was one chair there. And I was the first row because I wanted to meet her. She walks in this white gown, and
Mhm.
she goes, and I was like, oh, she's like, I know in Brooklyn, New Yorker. I know. So she goes, what do you do? I said, I'm a medium. She goes, I'm a small. And I said, why are you sitting up there and we're sitting down here? Why don't we sit in the same level as you? I don't understand that. And people are looking at me. And you go, well, I'm a guru. I said, we're all gurus. And I got up and I left them with, they're looking at me like I was this weirdo. And I walked right out. It was like,
Okay, I'm so impressed.
yeah,
I'm so
why are you sitting up
impressed.
there? We're down here. Nah, I like
I
that.
could totally see you doing that.
But,
Oh my God. Well, that's really what they do.
yeah.
That's what they do. And then every once in a while they'll say your name, and then that will be like, oh my God, they said my name.
It's
Oh,
true.
it's such a bizarre thing. But people get stuck in it because they have fear, and they're fear that they'll be excommunicated because now they have friends, right? Or a relationship,
And I want to belong. There's a sense of
and they
belonging.
want to belong. But what happens with these people is they start doing mind control, James, and manipulation.
Yep.
And they will tell you that their information is the only information,
Exactly.
and it's they'll indoctrinate you into that kind of thing. And
Julie Monsterman makes a comment here, which I think is great.
Okay.
It's so important to focus our minds on positive things and social, and not what the low frequency shows, movies, and news is much positive. I agree, Julie, and I also agree we should do that, but we also got to be aware. We got to be aware. We can't put our heads in the sand. We got to be aware of these things that are out there, these cults, and actually not get involved in the news, but be aware of what's happening in the news.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God,
Smart thing.
absolutely. But check it out. It's a wild.
Our Jehovah's
Show.
Witness cults. Yeah, I think they're a cult. Yes. I was married to a woman who was in a cult. Ready this one. And when I first met her, she was in a Christian cult. And she came to me in California and she said, the earthquake, is it an earthquake because I'm leaving this church? And I said, no. And it was all of this really weird way of thinking. And I had to bring her eventually to a deprogramming group, the Jewish Federation League on Wilshire Boulevard, to be
Oh, yes.
deprogrammed. Had to
No
go-
kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big deal to do that.
It's a big deal.
And some people just cannot. They want to stay in that mindset.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
But
It's a really hard one.
I just despise this group that they tell people that the divine feminine, divine masculine, and they actually talk people into changing their gender.
Oh, this one did. It was unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just unbelievable. They work on those fears and insecurities, and it's just not good.
Oh no. Wow. Well, it was. So I think the bottom line is, know thyself and be strong.
Be true, and that's what we talk about today. Like in the
Yes.
how to live your best life, be the best you can, and all of us down to self-love. Make a list of those 10 things, 5 things you love about yourself.
Yes.
That make you unique than anybody else, and things that you have to offer to the world. And we come in here with a lot of positivity, not negativity when we're born. When we're born, we have all the gifts that are available to us. We just got to seek them out within ourselves. We're not here with a deficit. We're here with an abundance. But many times, because society, maybe we're raised a certain way, we think we're inadequate. We're not. We're fully adequate. But sometimes we have to do the treasure hunt. We got to go in and find those incredible treasures within us. Those gold pieces.
Absolutely, we do. And again, the first thing I love to say is be you, and the second commandment is be more you.
That's right. Be more you.
More you. And be the you that you are here to be.
Yeah, Kelly, it gets so simple, but we can zoom in and make it complex.
Mm-hmm.
I often say the analogy that, it's like we're all snowflakes. Each snowflake that falls upon the ground is unique. No two are ever alike. They're all unique. Same with us souls are unique. No souls are alike. We're all cut from the same cloth, but we're a different design. And we have to honor that design. And nobody's better than you. Nobody's less than you. We're all the same. But people can manipulate, and you got to be careful with that. The more you know yourself, the more you can get through anything.
Right. Well, just like you knew. I mean, you knew when you walked in. I knew. Honestly, I was looking for somebody to help me with these gifts. I did not know what to do. And then once I realized, and I did realize, oh, this is a situation here, and I left.
Yeah, I know from being raised Catholic when I went to school, a church as a boy. I loved all the pageantry. I love the costumes. I love the incense. I love the music. The ceremonial part, and I still do.
Right.
And I think it's great. And the ritual, love the ritual. But the control part didn't quite get, drinking the blood, eating the body of someone. Are we cannibals? I don't get that. I write about that in my book because It's just I don't get it. It's all symbolic, but no, the 7-year-old knows that or 8-year-old knows that.
Hmm.
It's just interesting. I think, yeah, all, the religion for me is just love. That's all there is. It keeps it simple.
Absolutely. Jennifer Agnes says the more you know yourself, the less you can get manipulated. That's very true.
Yes, very much
Yeah.
so. Robin
Very
Bernard
true.
from New York City, one interesting cults in the 70s. Me too. NYC was
Oh,
Frederick
Frederick
Lenz.
Lenz. Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Very true.
7 Day
Oh,
Adventist,
Master
the
Rama. It's very true.
Bible. I was at the dog, at the dog park about a year ago, and these two young men were, I guess, about 20, 21, in front of the dog park entrance in the uniform, shirt and tie.
Mhm.
And I don't know, 7 Day Adventists or Mormons, I don't know what they were. And they said, as they left, "Have you find Christ?" And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "This is a dog park, not a dogma park." I couldn't help myself. I just couldn't help myself. So I said, I talk about love, power, and you can't change their mind, but I just believe in the little seeds, like dropping little seeds here and there. And eventually I talked to them, and then they left. They haven't been back since. That's been over a year ago. So, hey, what the heck?
Oh my gosh,
I
that's
wish people would
funny.
think to themselves. People need to
Yeah.
think to themselves. That's really what it's about.
Well, they do. They do. Oh my gosh. Well, so let's talk about being your best self. So I'd like to know what other people have been doing. Because when James and I did this show the first time, it was the beginning of October. Did anybody take on anything that they let go of? Did they work? Did you guys work on trauma? Did you work on anxiety or depression or addiction or anything to help yourself with being the best you going forward?
Or step up, have boundaries.
Boundaries is a good one.
You really are, because that's really
Mhm.
important. Honoring yourself.
Mhm.
And, setting those boundaries is so important.
Right. Resting. Did people rest?
I did 2 days.
Yeah, right?
You have to rest. Yeah, you got to rest.
Yeah.
This is Bev says, "Love you." Here we are. Cults teach us about the danger of groupthink. We really need to listen to our own vision. Very true. Love your message. It's so inspiring. Why do people think that following a medium is evil? I struggle with this as you express so much love and light in your readings. I think it goes back to long time ago when they put it all together with demonic things and demons and hell and all that. It's the churches too. I can say this: the Catholic Church, in the libraries in the Vatican, they have all this beautiful texts, many thousands, hundreds of thousands of books written about esoteric studies and all the rituals, and it gives humans the magic back. It doesn't hold it back. They gives them the rituals, the sacraments, and anointing the body was also very much an old Celtic ritual, and working with the seasons and so forth. And the church took it apart. They didn't want anybody to know the real things, because they would have the freedom. They would have the power. They wanted to take the power away so they could control the power and not let people do it for themselves. They wouldn't have a church.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing.
They had mediums. They call mediums. They had seers, all different types of things. And they're very into it, but it's just that it's against the religion. They want to own that power, keep that power. And to give away the power and let people know that they can see spirit. Everybody can see spirit if they work at that, or there's some people that are mediums in betweens. Then they wouldn't need the church, would they?
No, exactly. So this is great, James. A lot of people listen to this. Peggy Clancy Everham says she's doing shadow work.
Great.
Good for you, Peggy. That's great. Susie Everett says, I let go of toxic family and people who tell me I can't do something. Bravo, Susie. That's really great. Gwendolyn says she's letting go of certain relationships. Good for you. Judy Legacy says she's been sleeping a lot. Well, if that's important, that's great. Eric says nothing's working for me in therapy at the moment. But you know what, Eric? What I always found when something's not working in therapy at the moment, there's always a breakthrough. So just let it percolate.
And people
you're in therapy at the moment. I'm glad that that's great. It's a great place to be.
And remember, there's no audience, there's no show, right? Or there's no show, there's no audience, whatever I say. Yeah. Right?
Right. So Kamakani is working on trauma, anxiety, boundaries, addiction to marijuana. That's great. That's great that you're working on all of that. Good. Okay, so shadow work is when you are working with, everybody's got a shadow side. Everybody has a shadow side, okay? A shadow side could be an addiction. It could be passive aggressiveness. It could be something that a mean streak. It could be everybody's got a shadow side.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Politics.
Everybody.
It's big
Oh
time.
my gosh. I mean, in therapy, you always want to look at your shadow. So when you do shadow work, you're really allowing yourself to see, what part of you needs some work, some light shed on it, actually. Like you may not even know you're passive aggressive. You know what I mean? Some people are so unconscious, they don't know what they're doing. And so shadow work really does help to expand that.
And
Didn't your friend did that, didn't she?
Yes, indeed. Debbie Ford wrote a book
Yeah.
about shadow work.
Hmm.
Light Chasers. And so look up Debbie
Yeah.
Ford. Good
She
friend
was
of mine.
famous for it.
She's famous.
For shadow
She wrote
work.
about shadow work.
Mhm.
And yeah, she read some very, very wonderful books on it. And that's, to me, the top person. I would do workshops with her. And the other room in the hotel, she'd be screaming. I'm like, Debbie, why are you screaming up there? Well, they're yelling out their shadow selves. I said, well, you're taking on their shadow selves. So, but she'd have them actually combat their shadow and scream it and let it out. And it's kind of a, screaming therapy, I guess you'd say. But she
Can
really,
be.
yeah, she's one of the first authors ever to write about shadow work. So
Mhm.
Debbie Ford, yep, good girl.
That's good.
Shannon says, I really don't like that side of me. I'm trying to change her. Well, you got to honor that side of you too, Shannon. So you're learning a lot. What are
Absolutely.
you learning from that side of you? So it's all about, it's not about judging one or the other.
No.
It's what are you learning from it? It's all about learning. It's not judging. It's learning. So what am I learning about this?
Right.
And Kelly, you wrote something here that you sent to me too, which is PTSD. If people are in grief or suicidal, symptoms of PTSD, which I think is really good. Flashbacks, physical sensations of pain, sweating, angry, low self-esteem, self-critical, addiction. I think anything too extreme in one's life is not good. I think there would be a moderation and balance, no matter what it is. Even beating ourselves up, don't do that. Enough people outside to do it for you. Now we're here. Pat yourselves in the back for making it here. It's a hard school when you're here.
I love that you just said that.
We forget that.
People do forget that because they get so involved in the moment of whatever it is. But again, if everybody can really look at their soul, as you guys have all gone through a lot. Everybody's gone through a lot on Earth. Gosh, I mean, just the fact, James, that you could name like 5 or 6 experiences of being even with in a cult.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Like we've all had these experiences.
I love Miranda right there. She said, if we as human beings are naturally born with ESP, which we are, if we acknowledge and respect it, this is true. Like if you were born with blonde hair or brown eyes or brown and white skin, you are who you are. Very true, Miranda. But unfortunately, what governs the world, they don't want people to have that sixth sense. They want people to have the inner knowledge because they wouldn't need a lot of those things that the world is giving them and products and, to get better whatever. We wouldn't need that. I don't know. Maybe the pharmaceutical companies would go down too.
This is a good question from Bonnie Russell. She says, I need to learn how to set boundaries and not come across as being mean. Well, let me tell you something about appearing mean when you set a boundary. Good for you, because it really does set the boundary. And then you get to a point where you can say, you don't have to go to that place. You can just say, no, thank you. No.
Kelly and I both did it. I did it with someone from my family. I did it. And I said, no, you do not behave like that anymore. And then called me egotistical and you're crazy. Like, no, that's fine. You can think that way, but that's not who I am. That's their own stuff they have to work on. Yeah. And you shouldn't be pulled down by another person's stuff. What they think of you is their business. And what other people think of you is none of your business. And you have to set boundaries, because if they don't honor you and respect you, bye-bye.
But don't you think, though, James, that's part of the human condition is when you come to Earth, you have to learn to set a boundary?
100%. In order to grow and expand and get more involved with who you really are and honor yourself, you got to honor your energy, who you are. You got to let the world know, this is who I am. And, you get to have me if you support me and love me and we love each other. And that's, if you don't and you abuse me, bye-bye, you don't get to have me. And that's for everybody. I mean, that's everybody. Don't be so, we can't be so open that we need love and we just want it so badly. First, you have to love yourself. You got to have the relationship first. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else, because it won't be genuine.
Absolutely. My theory on when babies come in and the first thing they start to say is no, I swear, I think it's because on the other side, as they're coming in, the last thing they hear is, don't forget, set boundaries, say no. Okay. And they come out and the first thing they say is no. I think that's it. Oh my gosh.
Life Before Life is a great book. Then it was
Yes.
about the souls planning coming down here, and so many of us, I really didn't want to come down. I didn't want to. I knew I had to, but I didn't really want to.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. Angie Tulliver says, I've worked quite a lot on my spirituality. Good for you. Being able to hold strong with what I know in my heart to be true. And that's the whole key. If you know in your heart that it's right for you, then it's right for you. And that's the thing, the difference in these cults, James. These cults, they will force their ideas on you. They don't ever say, if it doesn't fit you, let it go. They don't do that. They just kind of force it on you.
Yeah, I understand that one.
Oh, yeah.
When you just make boundary work, you decide not going to go a certain way, be supportive of someone if they're not honoring you, whatever it might be. I guarantee you within, I don't know, for me, it worked within a month. I felt this new road and I felt freedom. I felt that scene in The Wizard of Oz when they go and they finally see the color, Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Lion and the Scarecrow are going the road, and there's Oz in the distance with these sunflowers. That's the feeling I always get. Like, wow, there's a freedom, there's a newness there, and that it's like almost like I'm honoring who I am, and it's like my higher self is thanking me. This is the right path for you. Don't get caught up in other people's stuff.
Yes,
Stuff.
That's it.
And that doesn't define you. You define yourself. They don't define you. You define yourself. Even families. We're all different. Even though we belong to one family unit, we're all individuals within that unit. And some like you and I both feel like we don't even belong to these families.
Oh my God. I don't know how this happened.
Wow.
How'd that happen?
Wow.
Okay. So Debbie Duncan says, I need to work on boundaries. Thanks for the suggestion. I am asked for help constantly. I need my own time. Say no. Say no. Say no. Really, first, you should say no.
Yeah. And don't worry if you're going to think of you. Say no. Say, that doesn't work. You can say it nice way. You don't have to be angry or nasty. Whatever people think of you, just be kind. Say, it's not going to work for me. That doesn't feel right for me. Sorry, I just can't do that. It doesn't feel right for me. And if they don't understand it, they might not, because they're used to using you a certain way or you reacting a certain way, and they're used to that behavior. And if you change it up 180, they'll be like, huh? But that's going to be the reaction. But that's their stuff, not yours. And move along.
So true. And move along.
So you're teaching them. You are actually teaching them about setting boundaries, because they might come back to you. Say, what? How did you do that? Or what? Wow,
right.
I respect you.
It's very true. Very true.
It's a way of teaching.
Jennifer Agnes says, thanks for reading my comment, Kelly. You're welcome. She says, my late mom read your book, James, Talking to Heaven, and it helped her understand and face her impending death when she was going through cancer. She said, my little sister in Nazareth, Pennsylvania was starstruck when she met you, and you signed her book, James. She said, your podcast, What Happens When We Die, helped us to cope with our father's death in October of 22. Thank you for sharing your gifts.
Wow. That's great. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You never know how lives are touched.
No, you never know.
I can't wait for your book to come out. We're going to get it published now, but your book is incredible. And
thank you.
A lot of people.
I get a lot of information in it, right? There's a lot of information.
I mean, it's really funny. Several lifetimes in one. I mean, really.
It feels that way.
It feels like, yeah.
It does.
And Kelly did all this. Wow.
But I really, what? From the bottom of my heart, James, thank you. I mean, you encouraged me, you helped me, you brought everything out in me, and I really appreciated it so much.
Work, yeah, it's important, Kelly. And what I love about it, it's so down to earth, which I love because of the Virgo part. But people can relate to it. And as I'm turning the page, reading, I'm like, no way, no, what? And if I didn't know you, I would think this is pure BS. But I'm like, no, I know Kelly. Yeah. But it's an amazing experience. It's an amazing experience that you had, and it made you who you are today.
It really did. I mean, I think every one of those experiences were very important, including in the cult, including that.
You're a great teacher, a great therapist.
Oh,
you really did.
I've seen so much as you've seen so much. I think that's why
experiences, Kelly, around us out, right?
Have to have it. And in order to do this work spiritually, you need these experiences. Yeah. You have to understand what grief is. You really do have to, especially as a medium, don't you think? I mean, it's so important.
100%. That's when I was a little kid. All my relatives died. It was amazing.
Oh, when you were young?
Irish wakes. Oh, yeah. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So many Irish wakes. I'd see the dead person standing next to the casket. Like, why are they crying? She's standing right there.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll never forget a wonderful lady in my lifetime who I met when I was doing private readings in LA. She was a little lady named Magda Best. little Hungarian woman,
Yeah.
4'2", whatever. And she was a metaphysician for 30 years. She taught metaphysics.
Wow.
And she'd gone with me then to Brazil and did ayahuasca with me. And she was 82. And I was like, she was incredible. So one day, and she really, her husband was, he had Samsonite luggage. He was the one who created Samsonite luggage, had the patent.
Oh,
Samsonite
wow.
luggage, one of many. So he was one of the first houses at Topanga Canyon, the very top in Malibu, the first
Wow.
house up there before it became Malibu. And we used to go there and see the clouds underneath. And she said, "It's great, James. We're like the birds." I said, "Yes." So she would tell me about her background as a therapist when we first started. And we talked about everything, mind-altering drugs and so forth.
Mm.
But when I was in the 60s, I was a therapist for these people. And they were acid, and they took too much acid. So how would you help them? She goes, "Well, I had to take some acid." I said, "You had to take some acid?" She goes, "Of course. How could I be a good therapist if I didn't know what they were going through?"
Oh, wow. Wow.
Pretty cool.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she left you all her books, didn't she?
She left me many of her books, and she said to
Wow.
me once, she called because James, she was 85. "James, when am I going to go? I need to spend my money. Can you tell me when?" And I never get that information through, but I told her 2 years, and exactly, and it was happened 2 years later that she went. And it was funny. There was a very funny story with her, but I could tell you another time. But she was a great lady. I miss her. She was really a wonderful, wonderful soul. Yeah, we had some great experiences up in Topanga Canyon with her. Of everything. We sat in development circles a lot too. We used to have phenomena happen all the time. Yeah, she was great.
Wow. Wow. What an experience.
Yeah.
Lana Fletcher says, "I'm working on PTSD from an accident." That's fantastic. "Accepting and working on lifestyle changes to bring positive changes to my life." That's fantastic, Lana. And for people that need certain type of therapy for PTSD or for trauma, there's a great one called somatic therapy, somatic healing. And there's a great website called traumahealing.org, traumahealing.org, for people that have had, it's trauma that gets stuck in the body. So it's a great therapy. It's great, Lana. That's great that you're doing that.
Debbie Duncan says, "I found out about you, James, when I was working in my library. A patron named Dusty came in and told me all about you. We then made sure we had all your books in the library. This is San Diego County." Thank you, Debbie. Thank you very much. Now I live in San Diego, so thank you. I appreciate that. Wow.
So sweet.
And James, Life After Loss, a 6-year widow. I am so grateful for your energy meditation of green and white light. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Life After Loss, great one. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, because they're subtle. Yes, they're subtle. Use mind control. That's why it's so important to set boundaries. Have no fear.
Yeah.
Very true.
Very subtle. Very subtle. And the next thing you know, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Kelly, you're right about the boundary work, and you talk about the resiliency. We all have to have resiliency. We cannot just let it go. That's going to be part of our makeup. It's going to be part of our layer of who we are. Resilient, setting that boundary, honoring that part of yourself, and keep it there. Not to be walking around with the armor around you, but be mindful of the energy and people around you. And it's very interesting. People can be very clever, like the wolf in Little Red Riding.
Yeah, right.
And very clever. And very, what's the word, appealing, like you say, it's charismatic, and all different ways, and they do it in such subtle ways sometimes. And
so controlling, it's so manipulative. And when they try to dummy down people.
Yeah, smooth operators.
Smooth operators. I heard a great word that I just think is, I've been saying this all day, and I have to say this. I've been watching The Golden Bachelor. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Golden Bachelor.
I love The Golden Bachelor. Oh my God. Okay. Like the Bachelor and Bachelorette shows on TV. Okay. Well, they have the golden one. The golden one is for our age, James. And it's just an I love this story. I love it. Anyway, this one woman didn't get chosen, and her heart was broken. And she said, "That's okay." She said, I love this word. She goes, "I'm a bouncer backer." And that reminded me of the resilience. I'm a bouncer backer. And then there are people that can really bounce back from things, and then people with great resilience. Resilience is everything. And on earth, you need resilience. Yeah. Yes, you're going to get knocked down. James and I have both been pummeled down.
Kelly told I've been walloped past 2 months.
You have been walloped. Okay, Friday at the hospital, I'm like, "Oh my God, honey, you've been walloped." You didn't even remember talking to me. I'm like, "You've been walloped."
But I did remember when they put me in a wheelchair, I thought of you. "Oh, lady, would you like, I'd like to put you in a wheelchair." I'm like, "A wheelchair?" Okay. I did this at the airport with Kelly.
Okay, that's right. There was one wheelchair. James got the wheelchair. You were so sick. We were so sick.
I didn't remember the wheelchair thing.
That was something
We were
else.
just sitting there waiting to go to the airport, and then the guys, would you like us to take you to the gate? Yeah, okay. We'll check in.
We're
Okay.
so sick. Oh my God. Yes, Pearl Strand says no is a complete sentence. I've always loved that line.
What is it?
Yes. No is a complete sentence when you say
Love that.
no. So Frank Sanchez says, greetings. I'm facing the issues of limerence. I'm not sure what limerence is, and codependency and how to work around them. I could finally say hello to myself. Codependency is a huge one to work on. And that really that Melody Beattie wrote a great book on Codependent No More. And if you would like to learn anything about codependence, or if you feel your codependence, read her book, Melody Beattie. Really great book, Codependent No More.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah,
Trampoline. Definitely, resilience to trampoline. Like this weekend, I was like deathly ill. Like trampoline.
Yeah.
Life feels
Yes.
like
Tanette Calderon says, I'm working on trying them to understand where I'm coming from. Do other mediums have this type of problem? Oh, it says some people, like my children, think I come across as telling them what to do, and I think of it as me relaying to them what I know or I've had experience that I've worked with. So I think Tet Delivery is everything. How you say something, know your audience.
You can't force anything on anybody.
No.
Don't force it because it'll become off the wrong way.
Please.
Present it softly. Don't force it.
Yeah.
It shows that you're not willing to learn, and you are willing to learn. But if you're forcing them, it shows that you're tied up in your way of thinking, and that's it. And you don't want that.
Yeah, no, because that's no way to work, actually. I love this question. Isabel Shason says, I feel guilty when I set boundaries. How do I release the guilty part?
Wow. Start loving yourself more. Why do you feel guilty? What are you hoping someone else will tell you that you can't tell yourself? It's always looking outside ourselves for that validation, when really we have to validate ourselves and be the best you can be. Be everything you can do. Life is short.
And also, Isabel, it's going to feel very uncomfortable at first. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it feels uncomfortable. You still do it.
Exactly. You got to get through the rough part.
Yes.
Feeling,
Yeah. Yes. It's the truth.
Focus on who you want to be. Play up your strengths and be proud. What makes you different? You are brilliant. That's true. I went to go see a psychic when I was 18, 19. She said in this reading, she said, wow, I got to tell you something about you. I said, what is it? She said, you're not like anybody I've ever met before. I said, really? She said, you have a lot of different abilities. There should be a school for people like you that have all different abilities, and music and art and writing and this and that. And I said, yeah, I can do all those things. She goes, there should be a school for people like you. And it's, we all have talents, and we never should listen to anybody else about our talent. We know within ourselves what our talents are.
But then you created a school.
I did create a school.
I remember when you did this school. I mean, now tell us what's going on in the school now.
Right now. A lot of people wanted mediumship too. Again, we closed it last week, but a lot of more people wanted. So we opened it up this Wednesday, and it's on sale now, Mediumship 2. And it's a good 6-month program at least. Might do a physical one at the end, have a finale. I'm thinking about that. And it's a great middle ground mediumship lesson 2. So it goes on 60 courses, and
good.
It's excellent. So that'll be till Wednesday if you want to go on there.
Okay, and people would have had to take Mediumship 1.
They would have had to, or they had mediumship experiences. You'll on there it says what you should have already been to, what level it should be at in order to take Mediumship 2. If you don't have that background, then you shouldn't take it. So it lists there what you should have the background of. Hugo Fiore says, James, gift or responsibility? I think responsibility, no matter what. I never look at I don't look at it as a gift. I never looked at my abilities. I was just watching a thing on Barbara Streisand. She came out with a new book about herself.
Yeah.
Right. And she was on Sunday morning, and I was just looking at that. And I like her. There's a part of her I like, and a part I don't like, which is fine. I was not going to do a reading. She wanted a reading. I said, no. I said, no. Your manager goes, why? I said, no, because she wanted to control the entire reading, and that's not what this is about. I love her work and love her talent. But she said something very interesting. She goes, I don't see myself as anything special. I just see myself from Barbara and from Brooklyn, which I love that. That's very down to earth. I just love that. And I've never felt anything special about the ability.
She had a really rough childhood with her mother. Father died or left when she was new, like very young.
18 months old or something.
Something like that. And then the mother was just horrible. Just awful. There was nothing. So this poor gal had to really stand up and do everything on her own for herself. I think she says at 8 years old, she took herself to the dentist.
Yeah.
It was something so insane.
You met her before.
No. I know people that know her.
I know her. Yeah, I know a lot of
I
people.
always had to be on another camp.
I
You
yeah.
understand that?
I was invited to a place and I turned it down and said no. And yeah, I couldn't do it. I just would not.
But I think what this did for me, listening to all the interviews with her, it helped me understand her so much better than what I had perceived.
And really, what it's so interesting. She has her house in Malibu and I got married a block away, by the way, when I got married down there. And underneath it, just a whole village and stores.
Yes.
And it just shows. I think that she feels like she missed out in her childhood. She's trying to recapture aspects of her childhood.
Absolutely, I thought that too. And I have to say, I love her husband.
Yes, he's great.
He seems like a wonderful guy.
Remember on Marcus Welty?
Yes.
Dr. Creamy.
Dr. Creamy. Oh, that's right. Okay. I love that. That's so funny. Oh gosh. Tracy Shank says, I really needed this conversation tonight. My daughter is a narcissist and it's been a painful relationship. She's been homeless and I have been doing the best to help her. It's really hard, Tracy. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. That is a big one. Read everything you can on narcissism, I'm not sure if there's addiction with her, that she's homeless. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm wondering if she's actually borderline personality disorder. So read everything you can on all of that. Okay, study up on it because you have to be really strong when you're dealing with that.
Push your buttons. Triggers.
Yeah, it's a really hard one, Tracy. My heart goes out to you.
A couple of things you said, which I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I want to make sure we do again. Observe yourself. To work out what the best you look like, you must know who you are. It's your best life after all, not anybody else's. Start to notice how you respond to various situations. What are your habits? What makes you happy? What frustrates you? How do you behave under pressure? What gives you energy? What drains you? Spend a week simply noticing. That's that observation mode. See how you react to things. Do you jump in? Do you step back and take a breath? See how you react, how you behave.
Oh, I love that.
Identify your bad habits. As part of your observation, start to notice your bad habits. Consider things that don't ultimately make you feel good. So why do we live a life we don't want to feel good at? We want to feel good about everything. You don't have to engage yourself in things that don't make you feel good. Engage in positive things. That last glass of wine was delicious, but you pay the price later.
Right.
Yeah. The chocolate was enjoyable at the moment, but how does the sugar make you feel? Observe yourself first, then start to deliberately do more of the things that make you happy and give you energy. Another one we talk about, visualize living your best life.
I love that.
Love it. Visualization help you to cement your intentions. It involves visualizing how it would feel to live your best life once you achieve it. I think I mentioned this last time when I was first coming to LA. I went on a Greyhound bus up to Santa Barbara and I sat on the beach, and this is before I knew anyone here. I wrote down 10 items I want in my life, and I have that journal still. And every one of those 10 items I got. One was writing, one was a television show. I don't know. I would help people. It was all there.
Wasn't it one of them a house on the beach?
A house, the beach.
Yeah.
Yep. A dog.
Great.
Dogs. Nice relationships. I had too.
Right.
Yeah, it was good. And I said, I just want to be not a leader, but I want to help people in a large way. And that was interesting.
Well, you've done that.
Yeah.
And you continue to do that.
Yeah. Well, I just got to be me. Got to be you. I got to be you. Try.
It's true.
It's funny. True. I gave up Broadway singing to do this work, so. But I do sing in my truck, and I sing to Pearl.
Do you? And I know that Pearl loves it.
I do. Now, this is a good one also. Take responsibility for taking action. Taking action can feel scary. We fear failure, but we can also fear success. It can be easy to feel too busy to achieve your intentions. However, once you have the choice to take action and live your best life or stay the same, it's up to you. So take responsibility to take action. Go for it. Life is short. Just jump in the deep end. And pace yourself too. I was talking about this today in soul care, with mediumship students and so forth. When you get something, pace yourself. Don't fully go for the end, but just pace yourself. Nice, moderation.
Things that we've learned. That's a good one. Moderation and pacing yourself. Yeah. That's very true. Celtic Seer, new moon in Scorpio today. Yes. Deep new starts. Thank you both. That is true. So in a new moon, we can begin things. Actually, it's not in Scorpio. It's in Libra, the way I do it in Vedic astrology, which makes this a dark moon. And the problem with that is it's not the greatest day to start something new because it's this dark moon. But new moons traditionally are really good for that.
Or writing some paranormal TV shows are probably really
now that would be a great thing right now.
That's
okay,
right now.
That'll be fascinating, James. Okay, Robin Bernardi. Boundary-wise, I found that people who play the victim can be the greatest bullies and manipulators. Oh, so true. Oh, so true. Well, it's funny you said that because in this program, remember, in this documentary that we're talking about, this one woman who is definitely abused, turns out she becomes an abuser.
Yeah.
And when she becomes an abuser, but at the end,
That's
you
the
see
wife,
her.
right? The wife?
No, not the wife is horrible. The wife is horrible. That was one of the people that becomes one of the teachers of this group. And then she feels such guilt for it and says, I mean, she has, she has such guilt and empathy, and she's so sorry. I mean, she's not a sociopath. She got put into a horrible situation, but she got out of it. Yeah.
But what about the one whose son became a girl, and the poor mother? And that really isn't. It's just weird. It's transgender. There's a great doctor on it. The transgender doctor.
Loved him.
Yeah, he's great. He's great how he handles his questions, and he really good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's so good. Michelle King says, read The Myth of Normal, which is a great book by Dr. Gabor Mate.
Never heard. That's great.
The Myth of Normal. It's so true.
Here's another one, Kelly. Be prepared to change the plan. You may have set intentions to live your best life. However, life is not linear. We know that. You get walloped. Does it work in lists? You must expect to be flexible and change the plan as life throws things at you. Yes.
Which is, by the way, with the planets the way they are right now, that is the one thing that everybody can do. Be as flexible as you can. And in life, it's true, don't you think? Be flexible. You know, things change constantly. And the way the world is right now, it's faster even.
Yeah, as the Buddhists say, you can't push the river. Just let it flow.
I always have loved that.
Can't push the river, let it flow. And the trampoline effect. That's a great title for a book. The trampoline effect. Go on the trampoline, up and down, up and down. Right? Because that's what life is going to be, up and down. So the trampoline. Well, okay, we'll get through this a little bit more. I used to do that when I was a little kid. I used to bounce up and down.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And because it seemed the most normal thing to stabilize. It's weird.
No, to stabilize. Me too. Because what are those? Were they druids? What were the ones that whirling dervishes? The dervishes.
Whirling dervish.
I was a dervish. You had to be. We were probably dervishes together because I loved that whole spinning thing.
Do their dances without knowing them. I did do them.
God, that's so. We're definitely from that same place.
I mean, but that stabilizes them when you do that.
Right. It's so important.
Says,
Nadine says being in the moment is so important. Yes, it is, Nadine. It is. Christopher Wakefield says, what are narcissistic family systems supposed to teach us? Boundaries and loving ourselves. Boundaries and loving ourselves.
Yep.
Very big one.
This goes right to what we were just talking about. Learn to flow. One of the most powerful ways to connect with your true self and experience positive emotions is through flow. Flow is like mindfulness in action. Flow is when we are so engrossed in what we are doing that we get into a zone and stop thinking about anything else. We can experience this when playing an instrument, playing a sport, creating artwork, writing an essay, reading a book, etc. Being in the flow increases our happiness, helps us reach optimal performance, and boosts our creativity.
Perfect. Okay, so James, do you know who we have on next week?
Who do you have on next week?
We have on, let me see if I can find it. I have it here. I wrote it down. Okay, please everybody join us next week, James. We have Debbie Lynn Grace, transformational leader and publisher of Sensitive Living magazine, where you were going to be on the cover.
That's right.
That's next week. She's going to be on our show next week.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, and when does her magazine come out? Is it next week? Or?
This fall copy, I think it is. I don't think very soon.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Doing, Bill Maher's show, Real Time with Bill Maher.
Wait a minute. Who is? You are?
I am.
When?
I don't know, but I will be doing it soon. I want to do a show, and I know him, and I'm going to call up the producers and just say, I need to get on that show.
Okay.
Because I'm writing a new book, so it's all about, I'm not going to have it on the book, but I just want to go and see him. I've known for years. And
I think you'd be so. Have you been on that show?
I was on Politically Incorrect 3 or 4 times.
Oh my god!
And I was on a crazy actress who was a Shannon, whatever her name was,
Doherty. No, which one?
Photographer girl, actress. Oh. Was it Shannon Donnelly? Maybe. She was crazy. All I know is she had a little situation there, and there was another with a Bible thumper next to me.
Great.
Interesting. Bill is great. Bill was very good. I like him. He has a new. Well, I guess he's had it for a year now. It's his basement. He has. Yeah, I just saw it the other day.
I've seen that. It's pretty funny, but I watch him every Friday night.
Yeah, I like his way of thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had Fran Lebowitz on the other night. It was like watching that. It was very interesting. Fran
Oh,
Lebowitz.
fun.
Like one Fran.
Yeah, she's interesting.
Yeah, very
For
interesting.
sure. Wow, I'd love to see you on that show.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bill podcast. That's it.
Great. Well, all right, everybody. So, James, you and I will be together next Monday night.
Indeed, at Thursday you have an event, Kelly.
I have my show Thursday, and you have your.
I have a bunch of stuff this week, so I'll do mediumship workshops and yeah.
And your animal communication class is
Tuesday and Thursday, and then December 1st is the eating of spirit messages. And a lot of people that couldn't make it this past one that I couldn't make because I had a chance to make it.
Oh, so you're doing that this Friday?
December 1st.
Oh, December 1st. Okay. Wow. That's a lot. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, thank you, James. Thanks, everybody. Take care, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.
The James and Kellee Show.